to differ.
That I think is, you know, it just doesn't look good. You come down.
Right.
You got all these things put in there and they don't work. And
But as you can tell, we are working on it.
I know you are. I just want it to be on the list. Because
Okay, no, it's great.
We need to really identify. The lights are still out, by the way, on the signs coming into the city.
He told me they weren't.
They were on the other night again.
Hey, Theodore.
Sunday
Yeah,
night
so
they
we're
were
gonna
on.
find him. We better find Todd.
Yeah, anyway, that's
Okay.
just a single thing. What else needs improvement? Of course, you can always put streets there, and it's...
Yes, you can.
I mean, we could just put that in cement and gold, and it'll be there 10 years from now, too, to some.
And some would say the CSO is a weakness.
It's just, you know, that's just an economics thing, you can't...
A15 should have been on that first one.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about your A15.
Oh, A15, yeah. I don't know, why did you put the CSO up there?
Because somebody said the CSO is a
I
weakness.
don't know why that is involved.
Well,
I think it's a plus.
I think you ought to scrub that CSO off the
all
way.
right.
As far as like, she should be more approachable, she shouldn't be about immediately, she shouldn't mail stuff in the mail, cost the city money, she shouldn't give her,
Well, we do have,
take it by hand, they're like.
you do have to mail stuff because then you have a paper trail.
Budgetarily, because you can't write money at all, when she should be screwed up by hand, it costs the city money. So,
Yeah, but,
just saying.
We don't have to identify snow removal problems this year, right?
well, really, but back on that, how much money we might not get as much money from snow removal next year either, but we aren't spending any this year. I think that's
I think the
definitely.
other possible, plus we can put over there is the increase in equipment that we purchased.
Oh, the backhoe and.
Yeah, because that backhoe is a major piece of equipment that's going to help in all of our infrastructure work.
Any of the things we purchased, on the negative side, I was out of the state. I don't know the reason why did we spend money on paint for center line.
We have to keep the streets legal, I guess.
Yeah, right, for public safety. I mean, striping the streets is important for public safety.
But the double striping, I think, is what the problem is.
Yeah, I mean, like up, my house, Cedar Ridge, and there's no traffic.
So it's, okay, so.
It's a question.
I mean,
I don't know if
guess
it's
I can't think, I don't know. But so you know which side of the street to be on? You think about I don't know.
Crosswalk issue a couple of years ago.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think for public safety and engineering practices are that you would stripe the streets, but I guess maybe streets, we'll put it up here. We don't need to do it.
Double striping, I think, is what you're looking for.
Well, I think, but I mean, I think there's places where, aren't there laws like that? No.
Almost every street is double.
Yeah, but isn't that one, is it a street?
I heard a figure of something like 18K.
Well, I had some of that left over, that wasn't 1 year's worth.
Right.
Yeah, then you leave it out and they leave it out in the streets.
No.
No, he's still using it.
Oh, okay.
Todd's as tight as they come.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's why he made that $300,000 go so far.
Could we put occupancy there?
Or vacant.
Vacant houses. Yeah,
24-hour services.
I don't know what we can do about that, but...
Well, I mean, it is hard, it is, the revenue is
necessarily
declined, I mean. it's
Several
not-
people walked
Yeah.
away.
Right.
but there's a lot out there.
24-hour services. 24-hour services,
Our weakness, we don't do them well.
some missing.
Restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh,
Restaurants and police department.
Very good.
you mean this, are you trying to say that the streets like roll up at 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock? Okay, just checking on that.
How about dearth of facilities for the teams in Portola?
What?
Lack of facilities. Teens,
Oh,
kids.
Oh, we have quite a bit of those.
Well, at the high school,
A lot of stuff happens up there.
there's an awful lot of things that always go on there. And then the churches.
Or the young adults, ones that are out of high school.
They have customers, they're very nice, not gonna be.
And
they
there's
could volunteer for the fire department.
at the Mormon church.
Could we put jobs there?
Yes, we could.
Market, the facility at CRC, so we don't know about that yet, about, because we reached that water problem. We want to take control of the watering of it, or the actual chirping of it.
Do we wanna? I mean,
People talk about that'll be a great extra facility, because we are starved for practice field at times, so there's, we put people in tournaments and practice. But I just,
Well, teams do use it, Mike. Softball and
you want
soccer.
the bar right, it's just dirt.
You know, I think that's county.
yeah, it's not owned by us.
Some of the time.
It's not owned by the city.
Put any money in it.
It's not owned by the city.
That keeps doing that.
Maybe we liaison and get it going, I don't know. Let's get rid of the dirt, the dust up there.
So, where do we go this year? Do we have any opportunities to fix some of the things that we think are weaknesses? Can we find any big, huge economic development project to do with some of the money that's in the general fund that would make it go up again? Do we want to go to threats first and think of the things that are going to impede us, like state budget cuts, state regulations, recycling diversion standards?
All the
They're still
same as last
there.
year.
Yeah, deteriorating city equipment, well, we did kind of fix some of that. Decreasing interest rates, which decrease our fund balance. Loss of COPS funding, which we had on this last year, and then it didn't happen. We had that. When we looked at the budget last year, we looked at cutting the CSO position to half-time because we weren't sure if we were going to get that, and then we decided to, and we kept it in. Older city infrastructures.
Maybe perhaps one opportunity, maybe once we get back on the treatment facility, we've got plenty of our water now, and we can find some way to use the water to create a economic, what do you call it, supplement, basically, some kind of organic farming in town, some community, something, farming market, sells around something.
Over on Bass Street.
A little larger scale something, because we have a lot of extra water. I just think we can do something with it.
Water processing plant.
Expand the use of the water to other neighborhoods.
Offer it to
Communities,
CSDs at a better rate.
Sell it.
And it's the answer.
If we could, I don't know the ins and outs of that yet.
I don't know.
Approach Delaker with on R&D and say, please come in, or just
Try to get more people.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, I said water and sewer.
But they're legal.
Like crazy.
It's something that should have been done years ago, that was, we was in high school.
Well, it's a thought. Two
Yeah, okay, so what kind of goals are we looking at? What do you foresee happening in the next year? We talked about this on the 4th. We talked about some of the problems that were going to face us. What are we going to do with staffing? We had a couple of staffing issues that we talked about on the 4th that we really need to either address in this new budget. We talked about the CDBG grant application that's actually on your agenda tonight. And did we really want to, is our goal going to be to help social services and help PCR, I can't remember, PCIRC, whatever.
Yeah.
Because that is on your agenda tonight, and that's definitely going to take city staff time to do, which is going to, deplete, again, some general fund. And is that the kind of economic development that the city wants to, encourage in town? So those are the things we need to look at today, is when the city staff is going to get our budget worksheets, and we're going to go by and we're going to say, we need this much money for this and this and this. What do you want me to tell the rest of the staff that we need to work on?
With the numbers he presented with poverty, the CDBG guy, it makes sense to fund that. I mean, that sends us in some direction, it shows we're trying to do something.
Again, that's what I'm trying to,
And then we're not, and we're, at least we're not funding the whole thing, we are matching the grant, and we're moving forward, I mean, that would be a good start.
I mean, we are, you know, is that where, that's gonna be on your agenda tonight, and Karen will be here to present that.
Would we write that as an opportunity?
Are you on goal? Isn't it, are you on goal?
Well, I think opportunities
It's
are
a basic
goals.
grant,
Landfill
like I
closure.
said, you know, other businesses coming to town, and other places we make, you know, we might get YMCA or Boys Club interested in somewhere over here, meeting up attendance and opportunities and interest into it, I mean.
Should this just be more generic or?
No, let's, the things that we talked about on the 4th, that we need direction on. Do we wanna include in the budget, you know, enough of Karen's time is essentially what you're talking about, to move forward with a CDBG project, even if it isn't, and it will benefit the city, but I mean, it's not gonna be for, you know, that's gonna be to purchase and rehab a building that some other organization is gonna use. And so that's, you know, the last time direction from the staff got any direction from the council on something like this was after Portola Cares, and we pretty much talked about not doing social services, that wasn't the city's position. So staff needs direction now if we're gonna go forward and
How long
move
does
and
you
look at
guys
that.
bound on, if you renovate the building, how long is this grant available for? You'd say it could continue.
It's not it's to buy and rehab the building.
Well, see, I'll say, that's also good, at least you get a building renovated, and for the future, somebody else might be going there. So, once again, I think that's a good opportunity.
I see a benefit as well, because it's not just like Portola Cares. What he's looking at is rehabilitating and helping the individuals who right now have no hope and don't know how to take care of their families.
Forever, nobody ever uses it.
Well, no, I mean, the resource center is here providing the function right now. EPCAN is here providing the function right now. I don't think it's gonna really totally increase what they do. I mean, I do think maybe he has a couple ideas. It's just gonna centralize it into one place, and they need money to buy a building. And probably anything they buy in Portola needs to be rehabbed because it's not ADA accessible. And so the money, the 1.5 million, which is the cap for that project from CDBG, is to purchase and to rehab, you know, bring it up to standards is essentially what they would be doing. And I think anything they purchase.
And that's if they get it.
Yeah, and that's if we get the grant.
CDBG.
And again, you're funding a grant application that you don't know if you're gonna get.
In the area of alternative energy, 2010, last year, Liberty Energy said, we want to come in, we're enthusiastic about coming in and talking to you about the possibility of, in the future, you selling electricity back to us. And then that hasn't happened, and I'd like them to come in and tell us how far their program has gone as far as being able to accept solar energy, hydroelectric power from us.
And I think that they will be at your March 14th city council meeting.
They will? Oh,
Yeah, we actually were.
my gosh.
We were kind of hoping they were gonna
Really?
be, we at once had them thought for tonight, but it didn't happen that fast. But they do wanna come and talk to us. We're finally getting to the point where they have their organization in place and know who's talking to who. And so Todd has had a conversation with them. We're gonna get a little bit of a rebate from Liberty Energy for some upgrades to lights, and they want to come and present that to the city council and then be able to introduce themselves to you. And so I'm thinking March 14th is going to be it.
Can I encourage the council to put the landfill closure on?
Can I put that up here? Can I put that up here?
And a girl sister.
On
Right.
all four boards?
Oh, in big letters.
You know, and one thing about that closure, in 2009, 2010, we had vandalism that cost over $10,000 both years. So if we could secure it somehow, at least get that far maybe, how do you do that?
The final film. We have to get the funding.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Goals and funding.
Right, it's possible that we could be talking about doing this summer if the council wants us to go forward.
We hope, we hope.
We're really working on this.
When are we going to get a report from, is that the meeting after next?
No, the 14th. 14th.
And then as far as water conservation, up at Baldwin Park, Todd said that they would have a conservation
And
area
they're
to show
working,
people how to save money with their landscaping and their lawns and so.
and they are working on that
Sample
project.
landscape, that's cool.
Okay.
Or called a conservation garden.
And they are working on that project.
And then we have the high school using our facility, and they don't pay anything. And that's the softball field, right? We need to work with them to get them to pay their fair share, because they do have the money. And Little League, we need to work with the Little League people and see what we can come up with as far as what their needs are. Now, as a former baseball coach, the infield is most important. I don't know how important the grass is to them as far as keeping it, real green, I don't know. But if we could get some money to help pay for the watering of that field, or their fields.
So we talked about this on the 4th, and
And
pretty
we
much
tabled.
the direction was leave it as it is, which right now, the high school and the Little League, and I might not,
But
there
we were
might be
talking about- We
more.
were talking about reservations.
Well, right, or some kind of a fee structure where, well, if they're gonna pay, then you probably are gonna have to let them
Yes, they should.
reserve it. But, so we did talk about that before, and I don't know where we want to move forward. The Little League and the high school softball team, and I don't, maybe T-ball, I don't know enough about it, I never had anybody that played. Use those fields that are owned by the city, maintained by the city solely, and, I'm sure every once in a while there might be a pickup baseball game or softball game, there, but I think the majority are used by some organizations. Do we want to develop some kind of a agreement or use agreement with the organizations that use it and charge them for the use of it?
I think we do.
Or do you want to just give them the field?
I think we.
So that's kind of different than we talked about on the 4th, so where's the council feeling
Like
on that?
historically in our charts, some of those groups, that's a big bite.
Yeah, but also, we never paid for the water,
Right, but now,
water our fields.
right, our general fund is now paying on the water fund. So it's a lot bigger bite out, it's a bigger bite out of the general fund now than it used to be.
The water. We'd be able to use as much as we want out of that 3-whatever million gallon tank it is.
So when you're talking about that, that's part of, that first thing I had where I had the general fund revenues and expenditures,
Yeah.
things like, the parks, all the money that I showed for the parks, and the revenue really is, the only revenue is really the swim lessons in that whole parks, against that whole parks budget. So, not that we expect anything anything in the general fund necessarily to cover its own costs. The tax money covers all that, and then it's up to you whether you think that there could be any charges for services that would be appropriate, such as swim lessons for the pool, or possibly this charge for the parks.
What if we didn't charge them for fees, to reserve the field or what have you, but asked if they would help us with the water?
Because how do you charge for the fields, like daily, per games, they have tournaments, they have.
Plenty of places do it, so there's
Right.
plenty of examples out there of how, I guess the other question is,
Yeah, that's our youth.
right, but how many people, a whole lot of people without kids are subsidizing that use. Maybe that's okay. I'm not saying, I'm just, so,
How many people are okay with that?
plenty of places have fees for.
Some opportunities would be also, maybe, I mentioned it on Facebook, and some people agree with around town and whatnot, is local surveys, more local surveys of people, what they really actually want. So some people aren't able to come and make meetings because of different things, work, timing, whatnot. So it makes sense to get some more feel. Any way you can get any kind of input, like Mr. Weaver always says, get those constituents giving you that feedback so you can get some kind of feel. Not to say when I was up there either, you don't want to sit there and be the council of Trenton or make people think that you are. and he was doing the things that 5 people or 3 out of 5 people want, or think, and you want to get as much as that input you can get in there, I feel.
There's a lot of people that feel that.
I'm sorry, did I miss, I'm sorry, did I miss the council direction on personnel issues Leslie was talking about?
Right, we didn't get to there yet. Okay, so we had the two things we talked about, needing to decide what to do in this budget, is are we gonna fund a full-time public works position that's right now vacant? And what are we gonna do about the city manager position that's gonna have to be handled in this next budget? That's what we talked about. And, so when we're doing, do we wanna fund that full-time public works position?
No,
No.
not at all.
Leave it as is with our part-time.
So the kind of the structure that we have right now with temps.
Yeah, it's the same
Temporary.
person. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll keep it that with the
Yeah.
part-time people.
I'm happier with that.
Yeah.
Until the city gets rich.
Okay,
Next year.
city manager.
Yeah, we need to start
We're gonna have to do
dealing
that.
with the city manager position, and
In this coming budget that we're working on right now, it's
I
gonna either.
think so, yeah.
You
The
know-
sooner we get started looking, the sooner we're gonna be better off.
Like we talked about on the 4th, are you gonna overlap positions? Are you gonna overlap?
There's gonna have to be some overlapping. training.
And are you gonna recruit, how do you think you would recruit for the position?
Susan's got a question.
Well, perhaps that would be, a good start would be to the Finance and Administration Committee to look at some of those issues and then bring them back to the council.
That
Good idea.
could-
Discussion.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Wilson said he had somebody want to come in on, perhaps with a part-time basis, so I'm not even all right, do something like that. He said that? but-
No, it was
So
actually.
something you knew the gal.
Julie.
It was getting
Yeah.
married,
Julie.
might just possibly would come on.
Oh, Brittany did.
Something like
Yeah,
that would
Brittany's
be,
long.
if we can find somebody like that that's willing to come on and almost, it would be a big help to us, and it's almost like an incentive for them to get the job also. If they learn it growing up, we'll be happy with them, and they go.
Yeah,
Basically, yes, it's not very good.
I'm just full of it today.
Okay, so we'll start with that position, go into the Finance and Administration Committee, and then come back to the City Council with some recommendations before it's time to finish the budget.
Contracts.
And then, and contracts, we have Gold Mountains.
I think it's dues.
I think Gold Mountains do. Gold Mountain contract, the sheriff contract. Susan's is up. Is there another one? Becky?
Steve, you have a contract?
I do. It's terminable at will.
Wait.
Doesn't have an end date, but you can terminate it tomorrow.
So we need to look at those contracts again and bring them back to the city council. Do you want the finance and administration committee? I think that would be, all of those would be, I think that would be for all of them to look at those contracts and come back to the city council with a recommendation.
I'd like that.
I think it'd be good.
Look, this committee's got a lot.
Ken?
Okay, we got, if you look at their weaknesses, is lack of facilities for teams, youth ball field, and then we're talking about ball field fees. Now, you start charging fees for use of the ball field, and you have them shut down at different times, and you take two of our weaknesses and add it to them.
Yeah, and you certainly have the opportunity right now to, I don't know, I hate to use the word absorb, but to absorb some of those things in the general fund because you do have a cushion in the general fund. So if we handed you a balanced budget and you said, well, we included fees for the parks, and you said, no, we really don't want to do that
No, we don't.
because it's, a double whammy on the kids, then you certainly can use some of that fund balance to offset those kinds of things.
I mean, I really got that direction at the 4th, was that we didn't want to do anything, but maybe did.
Yeah. I thought it was
The ball fields are
unanimous.
included in the parks, I think.
Right, the bar, well, it was a kind of a big general.
The parks budget
Yeah.
should take care of the ball fields and just like they take care of the parks.
That's right.
Yeah.
So are we crossing this off?
No, just scratching up, we can talk about it, but maybe there's some more discussion to be held about it, but it would be very complicated to figure out how you would do that, how you would charge fees. You know, do people that just drop in there have to pay a fee, or, you know?
It is.
So,
Well, we're looking
It's
at like
definite.
an organization, like Portola High School softball team. The athletic director from Portola High School would communicate with us, and, you know, we might be able to make them happy and let them reserve the field. And with Little League, that's a huge organization, and, you know, I think that they could help with the watering, is what I'm
So
saying.
maybe that's what we should look at, is how much does each one of these ball fields cost us in water? And is there a way to share that cost? Now, or we could come back, you know, and if it's minor, then you could say, we just want to,
Okay.
we just don't want to deal with it.
Okay, research.
See if it's really a problem.
Research.
And if it's not a problem, let's not deal with it. Let's leave it like it is. Sure.
Yeah.
I like to see things open and for public use, and it just hate to see us get into a situation where we get restricted.
So, the other things we talked about on the 4th are those big special events, which we pretty much decided they need to be their own events, and somebody needs to take them forward. So we won't budget for any railroad days or concert in the park money for next year.
We never did get anything on the railroad days result. And
Well,
I'm still
finally-
upset with that subject.
I would be too. I mean, was it a big loss for the city?
Well, I
Not necessarily.
can enlighten you on a little bit of that, because
I don't want it that
Cindy
way.
Wood is
Well, I-
still in Mexico. No, we still don't have a financial report from her.
Wow.
I have no access to the checking account or the banking invoices or any of that stuff. I did come in, we got a $500 check in from the Snowfest. That was, you know, a donation from them. So as far as I know, we might have broke even this last year at Railroad Days.
That's
But,
a money.
Well, I mean, although probably not if you...
Yeah.
No.
I mean, no.
On the opportunities, why don't you put railroad day situation?
There you go. At least look it over.
I don't want to lose that opportunity at railroad days. Everybody loves it. But damn it, if I'm going to loan money to somebody, I want some feedback about what happened.
Well, so then you need to have, I mean, but then again, is it really the city's, that was where we were going? Is it the city's event?
Well, it's supposed to be.
Well, no, it's,
But
no.
But wait a minute.
It's not.
We stopped that several years back when Shirley started taking care of it.
No,
The city gave up on that and let somebody else run it, and that's okay. But they wanted money out of us, and I
Right.
volunteered some from the city, and I recommended it, but I want some feedback about what
Well,
happened.
you can't, you know, we had that discussion, you know, it really shouldn't be a city event because of all the problems that we went through, conflicts of interest and all that. It really shouldn't be. It should be an organization, I mean, I can't find another city that sponsors a special event like that. I can't.
I don't either.
So it's not a city event, so that means they don't have to tell, you know.
But it was, when Larry McBride and I and several other volunteers back in
Well,
95 and 96, we had a lot of volunteers, and it was a city function.
No, it was never.
No, I don't think so.
Never.
No, never.
Never.
I don't.
I got a literature that
The
goes
city
clear back to
supported
day
it.
one.
The city
The city supported it, but it was never a city
Supported,
event.
okay, supported.
Never a city function.
Okay.
Except for those years when we had a contract with Shirley Lizinski. Then we had a contract.
Yeah.
The contract told her that the city wanted things.
Right, yeah.
But without that, you don't have any, you know.
And it just went down through
It
the
did.
cracks.
Since, it just,
But on the 4th, we all decided that we would keep it as a permitted,
well, they'll have to
You
fill
know,
out the permit.
not a
Right.
city,
But somebody
yeah.
has to do that.
Whoever
And
wants to
right.
run
And I don't know
railroad
who's
days
running
this
it.
year,
Right.
fill out that permit.
yeah.
So the question is on that line item on the budget,
Right. Not
where
fair.
we've put money,
Not.
we've written a check to railroad days to help support them, is that a zero?
Right now, it's a zero as
It's a
far as
zero,
I'm
Okay,
concerned.
but then the other thing is, there's always probably $15,000 worth of staff time.
Well,
That's kind of, you know, we call soft costs, but you have to remember, you have to have staff
Sure.
to perform those functions.
and so the only way we can do that is when we get this special event permit. I mean, I think Railroad Days is a bigger beast than some small little thing. But we'll get the special event permit from whoever is putting it on. We'll go through it. We'll go through and say, okay, if it's gonna be this big, you need to do A, B, C, and D. And then we can come to the city council and we can say then, at that time, do you wanna do a budget amendment to contribute to this? Like, I think, by some real specific things. Like, okay, have the event, and, well, the city will pay for porta potties, the city will pay for dumpsters, two of the hugest, the biggest expenses that come with it. And it's very clear, it's set, it's not like then you're gonna later go, oh my gosh, what did you spend the money on? No, we'll have the invoice, you spent it on porta pots.
Right on.
Clear.
Yes, that's what we should do.
Yeah,
Okay.
the big tent was a big expense.
Similar thing, maybe you can use that approach to the railroad people at the museum or Rotary or anybody else that wants to jump on board. If we work up something in a committee or even community committee, if they're willing to look at it and have a written up approach to what type of amount we could possibly give, or we've given in the past. Okay, look, we are going to pay for these certain things, so at least they have a good feel of, okay, well, maybe we can, as a railroad, maybe we can go in with Portola and we can do this as them being the lead agency, not us.
Right, I think we can support it in a whole lot of ways, but I think they need to be specific, clear ways, so we don't later have the problem of, what did you do with the money?
Right.
So if we say we'll pay for A, B, C, D, and E, even if they're really clear things, we know how much money we spent, we know what that money did.
I'll buy that.
Okay. So I think we know what to do with railroad
We need
days.
to look at, in the same thing, last year we made a fairly strong resolution about donations to things.
Right.
That we simply didn't have the funds, to be able to continue to do that over and over and over, and particularly with the way things are going in. So that's something we probably need to put.
So continue that?
Yeah, you continue it or discuss it at least.
Okay.
Again. Because it's important, we get an awful lot of people coming in asking for donations for this and that, and we're really not a charitable organization, that's not what we're here for.
We got that direction with the last budget, and I have been sticking to it, and when people come and ask me about it, I've said no. A couple times I wrote a memo to the city council and said, if you think you want to change this, let me know, and nobody said change it.
If something major comes up that we really want to, I think that's okay.
If as with the last time, if it's something I'll go, I'll write a memo, and somebody can say, oh, Leslie, put that on the agenda, and we will. But at this point, the direction was, you don't budget for it and don't do it, so. You haven't seen those people, have you?
No. And I don't want to.
Okay.
Leslie, I'd still like to add Dennis's, what was that, PR, do we know the name of it, for?
Oh, for PCR, so for the
I
CDBG.
would like to, because right now, we have that element here anyway, we have that element here. And right now, we've got EPCAM, we've got, resources, they're giving people help,
Okay.
but they're not teaching them how to help themselves. And I believe that would...
Okay, so tonight, that's on your council agenda tonight, so we'll, but that's definitely move forward tonight or not, because there's some deadlines on that. But just knowing that in next year's budget, there you might see some additional monies in for Karen's.
When some of those expenditures come out between now and June 30th, we might need a budget amendment.
Right, some might, some probably will,
We
so.
can deal with that.
Okay, that's good to know, we want to keep moving forward with that, so. That's getting to be a long enough list for me to tell staff, I think that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's
And a lot of them, we really, this renewable energy, we keep looking at things, there's always a little roadblock, and we'll get over that and find it. And they are working on that project. And what we can look at ball fields, there's a lot of samples out there, there's ways to do it. And surveys, that's again, something that we always seem to talk about, kind of communication with the public, so.
I think you already did the threats.
I think the list.
Yeah, I think the threats are on. Okay. So,
Another thing we need to talk about is that our employee over there at the swimming pool, she's going to leave, I guess.
well, we put that in the paper, we'll fill it, she's gonna help, she'll help
But
with,
do we want that as an opportunities, or
Well, I mean, I think it's just working, it's just business. She resigned and we'll replace and, you
I'm
know.
gonna hurt for a while.
Well, you know, she's already offered to stay in touch and help train and things like
I
that.
saw that, yeah.
So that's in the paper. Yeah, we are looking for a pool manager.
Okay.
All right, and we talked about threats already.
I think
So-
that's our,
You had a nice threat list.
well, I mean, yeah, the threats.
The state.
The state. Maybe we can put the Fed in there once.
The state.
The state, the Fed.
We can put county in very light too.
Yeah.
I'll put it in heavy.
So obviously, the Finance and Administration Committee has a couple things to do, so
Yeah.
we'll get that going, and I'll let staff know what to start looking for in budgeting, and we move forward. And the next time we talk about the budget with the city council is April 11th? Right, separate? Where the asterisks are.
But thank you, staff.
So,
You've made it easy to press it in.
And especially
Okay.
Susan for that recap.
Oh, well, thank you guys for being so patient, let me walk through all that.
Thanks for doing
Appreciate
it.
it very much.
Did
Thank
we
you
hear
for
a
doing
motion
it.
to adjourn?
yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed?
What is it?
See you back here at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
See you.